What's going on, guys? So in this video, it's time for us to actually add our product into Amazon. So we've created our awesome copywriting for our listing. We've done our keyword research. We then combined the two into make an awesome and complete listing. We made our images. So we've put all the pieces together, right? We've put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Now we actually have to input the information in Amazon and list our product so it's actually available for sale. So this is definitely a fun part of the journey, so you're getting close to making your first sale, and what do you say we go ahead and get started? Now, if you remember from a previous video where I showed you how to get ungated for certain categories, we're kind of starting in a similar way in this video, because the first thing you're going to have to do before you actually start putting in all the information about your product is list a category, is choose a category and a subcategory. So that's what we need to do first. And I'm first going to highlight, which category and subcategory should I choose? Is there a special strategy to choosing a specific subcategory? And let me just tell you this. There's all sorts of strategies and I guess hacks that you could say for choosing subcategories. And from my experience, don't get caught up in that. Just for the most part, in general, you just want to choose what is the most relevant for your product. There really is nothing else that you want to do or secret hack. Now, I am going to show you in 1 second things to be aware of, okay, when you're choosing your subcategories that I think might be a little bit eye-opening, and you can kind of view through the lens of somebody who's been doing this for a long time and kind of see how I think about things and how things really are kind of behind the scenes that you don't even notice when you're shopping on Amazon. So I'm going to come over here to Amazon, and I just typed in camping tent. And for the sake of this video, we're just going to be listing a brand new camping tent, okay? So I'm just going to come down to this Coleman tent that I've referred to throughout the course. And we need to just, in theory, right? In theory, we're going to be selling a tent that's literally, the same as this Coleman tent, okay? Let's just, for the sake of this video. So we know that whatever category and subcategory that the Coleman tent is in is probably going to be the best, most relevant for us, right? Well, let's just make sure and check. So we scroll down his page, and this is where you can view the category. Amazon bestsellers rank. So he's 116 in sports and outdoors. Okay, sports and outdoors is the very, very broad umbrella category that he's in. But more importantly, we need to dial into this subcategory. So sports and outdoors, outdoor recreation, camping and hiking, tents and shelters, tents, family camping tents. So he's in family camping tents. Let's come over here and see if we can actually match that up. Okay. So let's go create new product listing. Let's see if we can go sports and outdoors, outdoor recreation, camping and hiking, tents and shelters, tents. Wow, family camping tent. So we can match exactly what the Coleman guy is doing and make sure, and we'll have certainty that we're listing in the right category. Now, let me walk you through this scenario. So we know what subcategory he's in. Let's scroll back up. See this Amazon Choice badge? He's the Amazon Choice for camping tent. Now, Amazon Choice, I think I do explain at some point throughout the course what it is. It's directly linked to the Amazon Alexa voice system. So when, for example, if somebody has an Alexa in their home and they were to say, hey, Alexa, order me a camping tent, right? That's what you see right here. Order me a camping tent. Alexa's going to automatically add this Coleman tent to the person's cart and purchase it for them. How powerful is that, right? So you can have Amazon Choice badges and they're keyword based. So he might have more than one choice badge for different keywords, right? He might have 100. He might be Amazon Choice for outdoor camping tent or small camping tent. He might be that for all of them. But since I typed in camping tent up here in the search address bar, that's why it's showing camping tent right here. So another hypothetical. So let's say instead of that Amazon Choice badge, he was a best seller in the subcategory. And in order to have a best sellers badge in any given subcategory, you have to be the #1 bestseller in that given subcategory. So on first glance on the surface, if I was going to go out in the real world, source a camping tent that was identical to the Coleman tent, and I know that he is the best seller in his subcategory, and I know that he's a big, massive brand to begin with, my first gut instinct is not going to be to list in the same subcategory, because I probably have a very slim to none chance of getting an Amazon Choice badge for this keyword like he is, or a bestseller badge in the subcategory. So I'm probably going to stray away from this subcategory that the Coleman tent is in and try to find one that is like, easier, less competition, where it's sort of a low-hanging fruit that I know I can go after and achieve these badges for. So let's go back here. We have family camping tents, backpacking tents. I would probably list in either expedition or backpacking tents, and I would stay away from the subcategories that have all the big brand name players in it, or are where the most competitive people are. That's my gut instinct. I hope that makes sense to you. You will have a very hard time achieving Amazon Choice or bestseller badges if you were to list in family camping tents, in my opinion, because you're going to be going toe-to-toe, head-to-head with the Coleman tent. Let me run one other quick scenario by you that is going to be a little bit mind-blowing, probably. So I typed in barbecue gloves here on Amazon, okay? I scroll down, and this guy caught my eye right here. He's the best seller, right, on the surface. The customer sees this bestseller badge next to his glove, they're going to be like, damn, that's the glove I'm going to go with. This must be the best barbecue glove on Amazon. I'm not even going to bother hovering over the bestseller badge to see what it says, because it doesn't matter, right? It's all about the impulse. It's all about the instant attention grab, and they see this nice little orange badge next to a product, they're going to click on it. So the funny thing is, he's the #1 bestseller in barbecue claws. Not even barbecue gloves. Okay, barbecue gloves are his main product. The claws are just a little added bonus. So I just find that to be pretty funny. And you'll see this, scattered around Amazon on occasion. On occasion, you'll see something, you'll literally see, for example, like a camping tent, #1 bestseller in home goods or kitchen accessories. You can see some pretty crazy stuff on Amazon, and people are just trying to game the system is all they're trying to do. They're trying to get bestseller badges. They don't really care what the bestseller badge is for, as long as their listing has it. And I don't want to, I highly suggest you don't go that extreme. This is about as extreme as I would ever go, because it still does make sense. I guess he is technically selling like a kit, sort of an all-in-one kit, not just the gloves, but the gloves are his main product, and the claws are simply a free bonus that he's offering, and he is the #1 bestseller in claws, which is pretty funny, right? Yeah, look, he's selling barbecue gloves, and he's listed in the patio, lawn, and garden category. Grills, outdoor cooking tools and accessories, barbecue claws. So he obviously did his research, he or she, and found out that it would have been much easier to get a bestseller badge for barbecue claws than it would barbecue gloves. And on the surface, I would probably say that's 100% accurate, but it's up to you to just do the research and keep an eye out for these kind of things that I'm pointing out in this video, because it can determine which subcategory you want to be placed in. Now, let's say you pick a subcategory and a month later you're like, oh crap, I don't think I'm in the right subcategory, I want to change it. What do? Well, all you have to do is contact Amazon and be like, hey, I want to change subcategories, can you do it for me? And they will always just do it for you. So there's no sweat if you happen to pick one and then want to switch later on. It's really not a big deal. So I'm glad we ironed out that first step. There's a lot that you can do with categories. I just highlighted the most important things to note. Let's go back here. So for the sake of this, I'm just going to go ahead and pick backpacking tents. Okay, and then we hit select. Okay, now this is our add a product screen. This is where we're actually going to add our product. So I always like to come up here and hit advanced view. Okay, and this is where product ID. So remember when we had to find our UPC codes or EAN, and you can either use GS1 barcodes, which are the real government issued barcodes, also the most expensive, or you can use one of those third-party knockoff websites that supposedly derive all their barcodes from GS1, but mark them down to like $5. that's going to be up to you again, but it doesn't matter. All I'm pointing out to you is that number is what's going to go in right there in product ID. And when you hit select here, it'll most likely either be a GTIN, EAN, or UPC. You just have to read what it is when you purchase it. That's as simple as that. But you need a product ID. There is no getting around that. Like, that's 100% requirement. So after you have the product ID all nice and ready to go, the product name, this is your title, right? So this is your title that we came up with. It's going to be a little confusing with the name. Product name. Product name means title. Manufacturer, this would just be your brand name. Part number, just simply make it up. Be like camping tent -1. Brand name, I would just do the same as manufacturer. Okay, so that's that. We're on vital info. Let's hover over to variations. For our camping tent, we're not going to have any variations, so we're just going to leave it blank. If you have a product with variations, this is where you would specify. So color, size, length, a million different options that you can specify if it fits your product. It's that simple. Offer, this is also very important. This is where we actually set our price and we set our SKU. So this is your price. This is not your actual sale price. So let me show you real quick. $50. Okay, so your price, $50. Sale price is the price that your customers are actually going to purchase at. Your price thing, you always want to just make higher, because that's going to create the slash through price effect, which can drive a few extra sales because the customer thinks they're getting a special deal. It's like marked down on that particular day. Seller SKU, this is something that you need to make up yourself. If not, Amazon will do it for you, but for your own organizational purposes, you're going to want to do it yourself. So I would do this like camping tent -green or camping tent -black. This is going to be for your own good, your own organization, and your supplier as well. So make the SKU something, clear. Sale start date, sale end date, not a big deal. Just make the start date will automatically just be the day that you're inputting this information, and make the end date like sometime 5 years in the future. Condition, we always want new, right? Because we're Amazon FBA sellers. We're not reselling or, selling wholesale, used goods or anything of that nature. So, and honestly, that's all you have to fill out. All this other stuff doesn't really apply to us at this moment, because like handling time, as long as you have down here, I want Amazon to ship and provide services for me. That means that you're going to be doing fulfillment by Amazon. And when you're fulfillment by Amazon, you get the Amazon Prime badge. All your products will get free 2-day shipping for the customer. So you don't have to worry about any of this handling time, anything like that, because Amazon does it all for us. Super nice there. So that's offer. Compliance, this is just basic sort of information that is optional. As you can see, none of it is required or in red, highlighted in red, that is requiring you to fill it out. Totally optional for you. But do fill in any information that you find necessary or would educate your customer better on what your product contains, as far as maybe a lithium battery or anything of that nature. Do try to educate them the best. Images, this is obviously where your images are going to go. So this is your main image, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 images below it, and then these 2 down here. Now, from my experience, Amazon, the baseline is 7 images. It does differ on category. Sometimes these images will actually show up on your listing, but 9 out of 10 times from my experience, even if you put images in these 2 spots right here that I'm showing, they will not actually appear on your listing. The only ones that appear are the main image and then the 6 below it, so for a total of 7 images. So you just want to focus on your 7 best images. Just treat these as maybe extras that may or may not be included, but don't really worry about these. So what are the requirements? So these are going to be square images, and you want to make sure that the product, especially in the main image, takes up as much white space as possible. You want as little empty space in the image as possible. And you want it to be at least 1,000 by 1,000 square pixels. And the reasoning for that is, if it's undersized, the person will not be able to zoom in, okay? When it's properly sized of at least 1,000 pixels, all you have to do is hover your mouse over the image when you're shopping, and it actually zooms in on the image. That's exactly what we want. If it's not, then the person actually has to like click and it just doesn't look good. So pure white background for the main image is a requirement. The other images have a much more leeway in terms of, you don't need a pure white background. You're not supposed to have text, but honestly, you can. If Amazon messages you and is like, hey, there's too much text in some of your images, all you have to do is change it. But the bottom 6 images have a lot more leeway and customization ability. The main image is the one you want to watch out for. You definitely want to keep it on a pure white background, and you don't want to add too many random things in there. You want it to just really, really showcase your exact product, a really high quality photo of your exact product on a pure white background. So that's where you go with the images. The description, this is where we enter our product description that we made. Key product features. So remember when we made the description, right? When we made it with that, using that free HTML editor tool. So the way you would copy and paste that in here would be in the HTML fashion. So if you were to copy and paste your description right here, if you were to copy and paste this right here, this one solid paragraph, it would come out like this. Even if you copy and pasted this paragraph, let's say, into a Word document, bolded a bunch of stuff in the Word document, spaced a bunch of it out, added some bullet points. If you were to copy and paste that edited version into this description field right here, it would still come out like this right here as this one big block of text. Why? Because we actually need to copy and paste the HTML version. So that version of the description that has like the open bracket B, close bracket B for the bold, like the open bracket BR for the line break, close BR to close line break. You actually need to enter the HTML version in here if you want it to appear on Amazon like that. And again, it's super easy using that free tool that I mentioned before. So that's that. Key product features. These are your bullet points. As you can see, by default it just displays 1, but keep hitting this add more button. Okay, and there's your 5 bullet points. And this is exactly where you copy and paste your 5 bullets. Super simple. We're almost done now. And if your product has, a choking hazard or a legal disclaimer, do include it here. Maybe, it has like a choking hazard for small children, or warning contains small parts, or warning contains lithium batteries, anything like that. Keywords. So the one field here that we want to really focus on is the search terms field right here. The other ones are not really relevant or important to us. The search terms are. So remember that everything, all the keywords that were left over that we didn't use in our listing when we made our listing in the Helium 10 Scribbles tool, remember we had those leftover keywords? Well, that's where you would place them, and we had the misspellings, remember, from the misspellinator tool. That's where you would shove those in the back-end search field. So what essentially that's going to do is Amazon's going to index us for all those words, but they're not going to show up or display front-facing on our actual listing, right? Because we don't want a bunch of misspelled words to actually appear in our product listing. That's why we save all that stuff for the back end. So the customer doesn't even know, but the Amazon algorithm does, and we can make sure we are indexed and showing up in search results when customers maybe type in a misspelling. A really important thing you want to keep in mind with the search terms is you need to stay under a 250 BYTE count. They call it bytes or bits, usually also referred to as characters, but all you have to do is go to Google, type in byte counter, and copy and paste your back-end search terms, the leftover search terms that you didn't use in the listing, and it'll spit back, how many bytes it is. If it's under 250, you're good to go. If it's over 250, you need to delete a few of the words. So I stress this because if you're at 251, Amazon will not index you for any of them. That's why it's important. If you're at 249, you're fine. So please do stay at under 250. Like that's not just my recommendation or advice. Like that's the actual rule. If you go over 250, then all of the search terms you put back here in this field will be useless. So that's that. Let's come over here to more details more detail section, you can add any sort of extra information about your product, shipping weight, anything like that, fabric type. Again, none of this is actually required information, but if you want to add it in, feel free to do so. And once you're happy and everything's inputted the way you want it, you simply scroll all the way down and you hit save and finish right here, and you are done and good to go. Give it a few minutes, then it's going to populate and appear within your inventory. And it's as simple as that, guys. Hope that was a useful video. Hope I was able to simplify things for you. It's really not hard, especially once you get the hang of it and do it your first time around. Doing it for the first time is always going to be the hardest, but once you get the hang of it, you can start doing it in your sleep like I do. So no stress, no sweat. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. See ya.